Hey guys, I'm going to do another quick live reading and it's going to be a pick of crystal reading again. So this is going to be group number 1 and this is a clear quartz crystal. Beautiful. And group number 2 is the smoky quartz. And it's basically going to be like a what are the blessings that are coming your way reading today. Alright, so we'll get started with group number 1. What blessings are coming to you, group number 1. And I'm going to use this goddess deck again because I am in love with it right now. Oh my goodness, we just got 2 cards coming out. Speaking about blessings, we have the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is divine love. It's absolute bliss. It's absolute harmony in every, especially in love, but, read it how you want. I think because it's cups, it's emotional fulfillment. Like cups is related to water. It's related to, how we experience or relate to the world with our emotions. So when the 10 of Cups shows up, to me, it's saying things are going to start feeling really, really good emotionally. And perhaps this is, coming after a period where your cup hasn't felt so full for a while. Now, we also have the Star card popped out at the same time, which is, again, incredible. So this sort of, I think this is telling me that, this 10 of Cups energy, it's going to be feeding your spiritual growth. It's going to be, allowing you to get really clear about what is your purpose in life, what are you here to be doing, and then to actually be making that happen. Maybe there's going to be some kind of opening up in terms of an opportunity, in terms of your spirituality, in terms of your soul's purpose, your reason for being here. This is what I see with the Star card. And I see it, these are just the most incredible cards, and they both came out together, and I'm just vibing on the energy that they're giving off right now and loving it. So in terms of what blessings are coming your way, well, take your pick. What is it that you want? Because it's coming your way. We have this incredible love that, if you're single, then I think you're going to be actually falling madly in love with somebody, or maybe you're in the process of doing that right now, and just know that it's divine love. 10 of Cups is probably the most affirming card with love in the way that I read. I think it's even more affirming to me than the Lovers card, for example. And so with the Star card as well, near the end of the major arcana, maybe there's some element of things completing, a cycle ending so that new things can come in. And things I think are going to get a lot easier for you. If you've been feeling a bit left in the dark with love recently, which I'm seeing is possible, you've been feeling a bit confused or not 100% sure, I think this Star card is going to provide you a lot of clarity. And I think it's going to really provide you with a renewed sense of purpose. If you've been asking, what am I doing here on earth? What the heck am I doing here? you're gonna remember why. You're gonna remember why you came to experience the human experience, huh? Okay, so we also have the 5 of Pentacles. So the 5 of Pentacles, it's not an easy energy. It's sort of an energy kind of around scarcity and around maybe controlling money to some degree, or feeling we have to control money because there's not enough of it, or that things are always running out, that kind of energy. So I'm seeing, because this is what blessings are coming to you, we can clarify this with another card, but I'm seeing that there's actually a shake-up in the way that you're viewing, your perspective on scarcity is changing. That's what I'm seeing. And maybe you are going to be forced to kind of change your perspectives on scarcity, because if we look at this 10 of Cups card, it's really, look, every single cup is full. Every cup is full. So, when you are faced with such a divine love, I think scarcity is challenged, and we realize that actually a lot of the time scarcity just comes from our conditioning. It comes from the conditioning that we picked up as children, and unfortunately, most of us as well. Let's think about the amount of past lives each of us have lived as a human being. We've experienced poverty, we've experienced starvation, we've experienced times where there really wasn't enough, and for whatever reasons that has stayed in our DNA. So of course it's going to come up as a theme in everyone's life, this scarcity mindset, this lack mindset, this idea that things are continually running out, that there's not enough, that we won't be supported. I mean, there's so much there, right? But it's sort of like, I think this is saying that this is going to be tipped on its head for you. That scarcity is you're going to be confronted with the ways that scarcity maybe it's just not true. It's just an illusion, or it's just a mindset. And I think that that's going to make you feel like even more able to receive that 10 of Cups energy, really receiving this. Because, you know, like we can think in our heads like, oh, I really want this incredible love, I really want this incredible thing to happen. But honestly, sometimes we're not really ready to receive it. It might be, maybe it shows up, but we can't take it in. We can't take it in for whatever reasons. Okay, so 3 cards just popped out. Okay, so we have the Magician, which is all about manifestation. So perhaps you haven't actually, you're not quite there yet in this divine love. Maybe you are about to meet the person. Maybe you are just getting to know this person. But I'm seeing in the next few weeks, in the next little while, the next month or so, that this is really going to start to solidify for you, and it's really going to start pressuring this scarcity belief that maybe you have. And really sort of like, because they are, like, I mean, look, it's almost like a direct contradiction of each other. It's the 10 of Cups and it's the 5 of Pentacles. Like, it's really saying, like, it's like, it reminds me of that Harry Potter thing. It's like, only one can live while the other survives, or whatever. Like, I don't know why that came up. I'm not that into Harry Potter anymore. But anyway, manifestation. So you're manifesting something. Or you just like are naturally attracting different circumstances to you because of this Star card, because you're getting in touch with a deeper value, meaning and purpose that you want out of life, or that you know is true for you, rather than, again, the old conditioning that really doesn't really serve us, but a lot of the time we can't really help it, right? It's just our programming. We also have the Ace of Wands. So I'm seeing that you're going to be feeling really enthusiastic about something. You're going to be feeling really inspired. You're going to be taking inspired action and getting things rolling. I'm seeing that if there's been some kind of a delay, some kind of a setback or a continual setback in your life, that's going to start shifting for you, and things are really going to move. Things are really going to move, because we also have the Knight of Wands. And to me, this is a lot about movement. It's a lot about inspired action. It's quite, I mean, they are kind of quite similar energies, but I mean, this is more like the initiation, the initiatory spark of something to get it rolling, and this is kind of like the energy that keeps it going, that sees it through to the end. So that's really positive. Cool. All right, I'm going to just do a few more tarot cards. So what blessings does group number 1 have coming for them? What is the energy coming for them? Okay, so this is the Emperor. Interesting. Very interesting. The Emperor is all about authority. It's all about kind of, you know, like, it's also about leadership. It's also about, sometimes we have a bit of, what's the word? Like, we're too authoritative with ourselves or with people that we love. We're a bit too stern. We're a bit too harsh. We're a bit too rigid. We're a bit too controlling, like, you know, my way or the highway kind of thing. So, and this is also associated, to me, I see it as being associated with a father figure, or with our inner father, because we all have an inner father and an inner mother, just like we have an inner child. So maybe this is saying that there's going to be a real shift to you in regards to how you are parenting yourself in terms of more of the father side of things. So by that I mean maybe you're going to feel like more energy to put up boundaries in your life. That's what I'm seeing actually. It's going to feel like you can put up boundaries that you have for a long time been talking about putting up, but maybe it hasn't been happening for whatever reason. And there's been like, it's like, as I'm speaking, I'm feeling, because I'm intuitive, I'm feeling this energy for you is that it's like you want to be assertive, you want to be authoritative, and it's like this thing will come up in your throat and it'll get caught. It gets caught here and you don't actually vocalize what it is that you need. And so I'm seeing there's going to be a real shift in that for you, because you're going to access more of this like commanding energy, more of this like, hell yeah, I can stand up for myself and I can become my own authority and I can fight for myself, right? Wow. Cool. Okay, I'm going to pull some Goddess Oracle cards because I just think they're great clarifiers, really. What blessings does group number 1 have coming for them, Spirit, that might be good for them to be aware of right now? Because sometimes we just like forget that good stuff exists. Anyone else? Like, we kind of like, ooh. Take some quiet time alone to rest, meditate, and contemplate. Interesting. To me, like, take it how it resonates, but to me, I read that as you've got a lot coming really soon, and just take the time right now to just be with what is, right now, and to feel some degree of enjoyment in the way that things are right now, because I'm seeing there's a huge amount of change coming for you, which is really exciting, but like sometimes we don't realize what we've got till it's gone, you know? So it's like maybe it's time to just like check in, be grateful with how things are right now, even though we may have been focusing a lot on what it is that we want, such as maybe this love thing that's coming in, or whatever it is that we're manifesting with this Magician card. Or we've been getting frustrated about our value, meaning, and purpose in the world and we're not quite sure. But just take some time, just meditate, just contemplate things as they are, reach a level of acceptance with how things are right now so that you can move on, so that things can start moving forwards. Okay, now this boundaries card also came out. So I think this is what I was really kind of tuning into with the Emperor energy. Love yourself enough to say no to others' demands on your time and energy. That's pretty big. It really is. And it's really like, I think as more stuff comes into our life, like as we maybe advance in our career, or as we are able to reach deeper levels of relationship with our partner, or just with people that we know, that we're actually called upon to do more, and we have to step up more, and we have to start asserting ourselves. We have to start putting up boundaries and really articulating what it is that you are available for in relationship and what it is that you are not available for in relationship. And then the second part of that is actually just doing that instead of saying, no, I'm not available for this in relationship, and then like the next day going and doing that in relationship. You know, like we have to kind of like be our own advocate and then actually like stick to what it is that we say, you know, start trusting ourselves at a deeper level. And then other people start to respect us differently, I think, you know, that's sort of how it works. Which seems sometimes counterintuitive. Wow, okay. Your household situation is improving, either through a move or a healthy change in the occupants. Wow. Need I say more? I mean, this card kind of sums it up, I think. So if there's been some kind of conflict in your home, or if you've been like trying to manifest a new place to live, or if you've just been getting really restless and realizing that you need a change, you've not been loving maybe who you're living with, or something going on at home, it's going to get better really soon, and it's going to feel like a blessing. It's going to feel like a blessing when it comes to you, okay? Incredible. All right, so I'm going to do a real, just like a final... I'm going to do a final angel card because I just have them sitting here, and then I just felt called to do that just then. So let's finish group number 1 with a little angel oracle card. What blessings? Forgiveness. Wow. Forgiveness is huge. Forgiveness is really, really personal. I think sometimes we get a bit of a different... and as I'm talking, I just like, this card just sort of like slipped like out. So it's like forgiveness, but in divine timing. Like, we don't have to rush forgiveness. We really don't. And forgiveness looks different for everybody, and forgiveness takes a different time for everybody. And it looks different in terms of who we're forgiving as well. Let's be real. So I think this is really just saying, like, allow it to be in its own timing. Allow it, everything that I just said, to be in divine timing. There's no need to rush. Things happen when they happen. And that doesn't mean that they're not happening, just if they're taking a little bit more time. However, I think with this forgiveness card, like, this is a very personal thing just for you. This is just you, like, we don't ever go and tell whoever we're forgiving, like, hey, I've forgiven you. No, it's just for you. It's not for them. It's not for anyone else. So that's why it really doesn't matter how long it takes you. You just do it in your own time, and it will feel like, it will feel right, and it's maybe the question might be coming up for you right now of like, well, what's the point of forgiving someone? What's the point if they, maybe they really did you wrong, or it was a really abusive situation, something like that. The point is for you. Again, it's not about them. They can stay, they can stay who they are for the rest of their life and the rest of your life. It doesn't mean that you can't forgive them in your own heart, for your own heart, not for them, for you. And that's, I think, the real key with forgiveness. It's realizing, like, when we hold on to resentment, actually it's hurting us. And yes, there's wisdom in that. And yes, we don't let go of it before it's time to let go of that, because anger is a really key emotion, because it's teaching us something that's not okay with us. And that's important to listen to and to honor and to acknowledge. However, at some point, sometimes we can become stuck in resentment, and it does feel like stuck. We do feel stuck in it because it feels heavy, and it feels something like we can't let go of it. So I think that this is just saying, like, realize that it's for you. It's not for anyone else. And forgive in your own time. And I think you'll feel almost like it sets you free in some way. And sometimes we won't know how that's going to look. And I just saw the green around this card. So the green is associated with our heart chakra. Okay, so it's just for our heart. It's not for anyone else. But I think that it will lead to a greater level of peace within your own body, within your physical body, like your nervous system, but also within, your energetic body, your ethereal body, in terms of how much love you can actually receive then. Because, resentment can take up a lot of real estate in our bodies, right? And it doesn't mean there's not wisdom there. Sometimes we really have to be really angry for a really long time, because that's just where we're at, and that's necessary. But at some point, forgiveness is indicated, right? And it's such a personal thing. Again, only you know, right? Only you know what's right. So yeah, I think, it's a nice place to end with that forgiveness card, because it's saying basically it's going to be a blessing. When you feel ready to forgive, it's going to feel like a blessing. Thank you, group number 1. I hope that was helpful at some level for you. And yeah, just take what resonates and know that if it doesn't resonate, it probably wasn't for you, okay? Okay. All right. Okay, so group number 2. So the Smoky Quartz group. What blessings are coming your way? Let's find out. Okay, so this is justice, which always trips me out in this deck because there's a lion on it, so I always think it's strength, but it's actually justice. Wow, so blessings that are coming to you is justice. So law, like maybe with the law, it might be legal justice. However, I think for most people it's probably more symbolic, so I think it's probably more around, you know, our ideas of karma can be a little bit messed up too. So not even necessarily karma, but more just like cause and effect. Like we make decisions and they impact us. And sometimes we don't see the impact of those decisions right away, but it doesn't mean that they aren't impacting us, right? So I think that's what this is speaking to. There's a blessing coming your way. Maybe you've been hoping for something. Maybe you've been putting in the work. You've been working really hard. That is going to come back to you. You know, that it's like that energetic thing of what we put out comes back to us. Everything I give to myself. That's in A Course in Miracles quote. So it's like, be careful what you're given, if you know what I mean. And, you know, no one's perfect, so don't be hard on yourself about it. But I'm reading this as a blessing for you. So don't stress. I'm reading this as a blessing for you. So whatever this resonates to within you, we can clarify with more cards. However, just think, what does justice mean to you? What does it say to you? What does it speak to in your heart, you know? It's coming. Okay. All right. Oh my God. So we just got a few cards. It's probably going to be the entire reading now. But they look pretty cool. Alright, so we've got... I'm sorry, I'm just like overwhelmed by how many messages I'm looking at right now. Okay, so we have the Four of Swords. This is about meditation, reflection, contemplation. So I'm seeing that maybe you need to just like take a step back for a second. Like look at her, she's sitting on the moon and she's looking at Earth. Like how much can you zoom out? That's a question to ask yourself about anything that you're looking at. Like how far can you zoom out and how much does that change the picture for you? You know, and it's a lot to contemplate. And she's meditating on Earth, like she's meditating on the planet Earth, as in she's sitting on the moon, but she's meditating about planet Earth. And I think, you know, the symbolism in this card is huge for me, and I think it's probably saying like a change in perspective will be a blessing for you. Okay, so the Seven of Swords, this is around sort of like acting a little bit sneakily, acting a little bit like trying to get away with something, being a little bit deceitful, and not even necessarily like telling lies, but that could be something. But it's more around just like acting based on our own kind of like selfish interests, which to some extent we do because we are naturally, you know, we're self-interested. However, this is more like kind of like an energy of like someone's been using someone and maybe you've been getting used. Okay, so it's like maybe it's time to contemplate the ways that you've been used by friends, by family, by your lovers or your lover, and really like get in touch with what is true and what is justice here. And is it actually justice for you to continue allowing that to happen? Or is it better if you just get honest about which side of the situation has been trying to get away with something? Because it's coming out. It's going to come, the truth will come out. That's what I'm seeing with this sort of like deception card, plus the meditation contemplation card, plus the justice card. It's going to feel like justice. Whatever truth comes out, I'm not saying it's going to feel easy for each of you or for anyone in that connection, but it's going to feel like justice. Okay, so we have the Two of Wands as well. So this is saying to me that there's going to be something around you planning for the future, you looking ahead and seeing like, what is it that I really want from life, from love, from anything, and kind of making that happen. And sometimes like we have to actually get clear about what it is that we want, because sometimes we think, or what it is that we need, because sometimes we know what it is that we want, and then it arrives and it's not at all what we need, and then we don't want it anymore. So it's like, be careful what you wish for. This is what this card says to me. And maybe like start to really tune into what your heart wants, not just your head. And think big, you know, don't just settle for like, oh, I'd really like A, B, and C, but that's so unrealistic, so I'll just hope for D, E, and F. It's like, no, aim high, aim for what you want, and then make it happen. And once we decide, the whole universe can act with us and will support us in that. So that's a blessing, isn't it? Oh, we also have the Lovers card. Okay, so this came up in yesterday's reading as well. Again, it's associated with Gemini, and if you're at all familiar with astrology, like Gemini has a little bit of a bad reputation for being like two-faced. But like the Lovers is two, right? It's two. I guess it can be more than two people, but it's usually a partnership. And so I'm seeing like a blessing that's coming into your life right now is that those sort of two faces of love that you've been experiencing, whatever that means to you, they're going to unify again. They're going to come back to being in wholeness, in completeness kind of thing. And I think actually it's a very fertile time, not in terms of pregnancy really, unless you want that, but in terms of love to grow. I think that all of this energy that has come before, like in this reading and in your life, I think that it was actually to some extent creating space for this love to flourish and for this unification within yourself and within two people to come together. And it's love, it's great love, you know, there's no denying that really. So we also have the King of Swords. So this card to me is all about leadership. All about leadership, really. And it's about, it's about truth. It's about truth and being an authority on the truth and not backing down from the truth just because it's not as pretty as a lie, right? Because that's what makes a true leader, I think, is someone who is discerning and who can be truthful no matter what. And truthful in the right way, not truthful in a horrible, mean way, but truthful in a way that is with integrity and is with honor. So yeah, I think that's a blessing again. I think as well, it's indicated that you are a leader and that you're stepping into more of a leadership role in your life, in your career, in your friendship group, in your family, in your relationship, in every sphere of your life. You are stepping in and stepping up as a leader. Okay, so this Three of Pentacles to me is around, I think that there's going to be some shift in your financial situation, and it's just going to be the beginning of it, but it's going to be leading you to greater abundance. And I think like it may be a little bit of a gift from someone, or you may get a little bit of an extra money coming into your bank account from some unexpected place. But it's sort of like, to me, I see it as a blessing, because even though it might not be humongous, it's a little indication of what is to come. Okay, so financial security and abundance is indicated. And I think that's really great. I mean, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to do a few goddess cards. And yeah, we'll just see what blessings. Aphrodite. Awaken the goddess within you through dance, self-care, and appreciating your divinity. Cool. So, it's interesting because this whole reading has been incredibly masculine, like, which is cool. I just think it's interesting that it's juxtapositioned with this inner goddess card. So perhaps a blessing for you right now is to get a little bit more in touch with your feminine side, or in touch with like the softer side of life, the more gentle side of life, the more pleasurable side of life. Because Aphrodite, I mean, she's a goddess and she's all about pleasure, right? And that can be sexual pleasure, but that can also be pleasure, taking pleasure in the food that we cook for ourselves, taking pleasure in going for a walk in nature, like seeing things as being pleasurable, and feeling pleasure in the physical body, in the physical 3D realm that we are experiencing as humans, as having a human experience. So it's like, dance it, you know, create things, like awaken all of your senses and enjoy them, you know. Sight, sound, touch, smells, everything can be pleasurable. Okay, we're going to do a few more goddess cards to finish group number 2. All about what blessings are coming to you real soon. Real soon. What blessings are coming to group number 2 real soon? They're on their way. Ooh. Receptivity. Allow yourself to receive. This will increase your intuition, energy, and ability to give to others. Wow. So this really ties in with that inner goddess card, actually, because receptivity is the feminine. Because, like, even though, and I say that the tarot spread that we received was quite masculine, because it was pretty much, apart from that 3 of Pentacles, it was pretty much predominantly air and fire. And so in astrology and in the elements of the tarot cards, we have air, fire, earth, and water. And earth and water are feminine, whereas air and fire are masculine. And that is simply representing the divine energies that exist in the polarity of the 3D realm, okay? So it's sort of like I'm seeing a heavy amount of masculinity in your life, in the way you approach life. However, what is going to allow for more blessings to be coming to you is for you to step more into the feminine, for you to create more balance in your life, and for you to allow yourself to actually just receive. Sometimes we think we have to create absolutely everything for ourselves, which is, again, at times true, but there's also wisdom in just allowing things to come to us, being like the pool for the water to come into kind of thing. That's the feminine, that's the wisdom of the feminine. And I think this is going to allow you to receive blessings as they come, because sometimes we are actually attracting things to us, but then we're blocking them. So I think that this is telling me, like, just slow down a second and actually allow yourself to receive what is either here or wants to come. Okay, let's do a few more. What blessings for group number 2? Ooh, not quite. Okay, we got one finally. Easy does it. There is no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is occurring in perfect timing. So this speaks to me about the receptivity card and the inner goddess card, because the masculine energy is the one that pushes forward, that pushes things and takes action and creates things, right? But the feminine energy is the wisdom of like knowing that things actually happen in perfect timing, you know, kind of like the wisdom of like a plant growing. Like, we can't just like tug on it to like make it grow faster, right? It grows in its own time, and it's beautiful in its own time. And I think like sometimes we know how good something is going to be when it arrives, so we just want it straight away, but it's not indicated yet. So I think maybe there's going to be, I don't know, like it's happening in perfect timing, basically. Whatever it is, it's happening in perfect timing. And I think you sitting here watching this reading, I'm sure that you've started to think of different things that could be coming to you, and it is coming. This card is telling you, don't worry, it's coming. Just like be a little bit gentler in allowing it to actually just come to you, right? Cool. Alright, we'll do one angel card to finish, guys. Okay. Except 4 just fell out, so we'll just do one of these. Oh. Manifestation. Cool. So, these kind of go together, I think. Like, easy does it. You are in the process of manifesting, don't worry. It's coming. But it's coming in its own time, and it's coming in divine time. Absolutely divine time. Alright. That's all I have for you, group number 2. I hope that was helpful, and I hope you can trust that the blessings are coming your way in divine timing. Alright. I love you so much. Goodbye.